Good Tuesday morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get to your headlines. If you haven't left the house yet today, be sure to bundle up. We have a very cold winter blast coming into Minnesota today that will drop temperatures for the rest of the week. Our weather team is calling a KARE 11 weather impact alert day because of that cold. We're going to check in with them in just a bit. But as we prepare for today's big winter storm, staying warm is a top priority, but so is safety. And that's why we're raising the red flag on house fires this morning, something we see more of this time of year. Michelle Beck continues our team coverage with some important reminders.
Yeah, hey there. It's about to get really cold very, very soon. So when you break out that heating equipment, you have to remember that it is one of the biggest winter fire hazards. That's coming from Burnsville's assistant fire chief and fire marshal. Think space heaters and fireplaces. You have to keep blankets and clothes away from them, unplugging certain heat sources when you're not using them. Now, as John was telling me, temperatures will start to fall tomorrow, and then we get that cold blast this weekend. So before we get there, check on your carbon monoxide detectors. Do you have them on every level of the home, near where you sleep? Another thing to check for is outside the home, especially with the snow we've gotten.
Fire hydrants, making sure we're keeping the snow away from fire hydrants. Try to remove that snow 3 feet away from all areas of the fire hydrants so that when time really matters at a house fire or any type of fire, that we can access those fire hydrants quickly.
Yeah, also make sure those live Christmas trees you may have inside the house, make sure they're away from those heat sources as well. Also, make sure you're watering them because we know that a dry tree can ignite in seconds. Back to you.
Good advice there, Michelle. Thank you very much. And after today's storm, be prepared for a big drop in temperatures. Wind chill Saturday and Sunday could be in the double digits below zero. And it's been 25 years since the last time daytime highs stayed there. Temperatures we normally see mid-January.
I don't say brutally cold the first 2 weeks of December often. This weekend's going to be brutally cold.
Yeah, you heard there from Ben. So as for snow, the National Weather Service reports nearly 90% of the upper Midwest region is already covered in snow, compared to 17% this time last year. Well, take a look at these new pictures into our newsroom. Hundreds rallying for educators in the state's largest school district who have been working without a contract for months now. Audrey Russo is in the newsroom with more from the school board meeting that just wrapped up hours ago.
Yeah, this meeting went on for hours, lasting until 11 p.m. Now, what wasn't on the agenda, the massive protest outside, and it was all in support of the teachers union, which has been working without a contract for months.
Recruit, retain, respect. Recruit, retain, respect.
You can see that huge group of teachers out in the snow along with a massive group of supporters. This is the state's largest school district, so the union covers 3,200 educators. The main sticking point centers on health insurance. Anoka Hennepin Education Minnesota claims their members are taking home around $400 less per paycheck because of health care costs. Now, the district didn't dispute the rising expenses during last night's board meeting.
Premiums increased overall. The board voted to authorize those premiums. Our employees saw overall across all of the different units about a 22% increase in premiums.
Now, I've reached out to the union for specifics on when their next mediation session is, but their website indicates they're preparing to strike, which could come after the first of the year. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you very much. We have new details now on two separate fires. First, the mosque fire in Prior Lake. Local, state, and federal officials are now working together to investigate what caused it. They say it's too soon to tell if there was foul play. The damage here is extensive and the building may be a total loss. Mosque leaders say they are determined to rebuild.
As we begin the long process of healing and rebuilding, we will need help. Emotional, spiritual, and yes, financial.
Mosque leaders say the building also houses a school with more than 200 students. They are doing online learning for now. Then in Fridley, a man is behind bars accused of starting a fire at his nursing home. Police say the fire was in one of the residents' rooms at the estates at Fridley. They found the suspects nearby a short time later. One other resident was taken to the hospital, but they're expected to be okay. This morning, growing calls to hold St. Paul police accountable for a clash with protesters during an ICE raid last month. The city council president telling us they aim to pass a resolution tomorrow calling for an independent investigation. This is video of the incident showing St. Paul officers using chemical irritants during the federal operation in the Payne-Phelan neighborhood. Community groups gathered yesterday at City Hall, accusing officers of using direct-fired munitions targeting members of the media.
We're not here to say we hate or to bash the police, but we are here to say that when people mistreat other human beings for any reason at all, that they should be held accountable.
Now, we received a statement from St. Paul Police. It reads in part, quote, "The department's response to the incident on November 25th is under review. This includes our response to resistance and aggression and other related policies or practices." The chief says the review includes watching body camera footage and video shared by community members. He says they will share the findings once the review is complete. This morning, a man arrested for shooting at Bloomington police outside of the Mall of America will make his first court appearance. 21-year-old Joshua Roca is now facing attempted murder and assault charges after officers say he fired at them with a semi-automatic rifle following a car chase last week. He's being held on $1 million bail. Well, after years of pandemic-related volatility, experts say they're expecting the housing market to stabilize in the new year. After the typical winter slowdown, realtors say spring will be strong, but they're watching for the Federal Reserve's final interest rate decision of the year tomorrow.
The important thing to remember is you can't time the market. One of the sayings in real estate is time in market. It's not timing the market. Again, if you're comfortable with the payment and you can buy.
According to data from the Minnesota and Twin Cities Realtor Associations, the median home price in Minnesota was $351,000 in October after hitting a record high of $370,000 this summer. President Trump will travel to Pennsylvania today for an address on the economy as a series of recent polls show a majority of Americans are frustrated over stubbornly high prices. This trip comes after the White House announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers and ahead of a vote in Congress on the future of health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. NBC's Alice Barr has the very latest from Washington.
Hi there. The president's help for farmers comes as they've been hit hard by his trade war with China. And his first trip on the road since the summer to tout his economic agenda comes amid deepening voter concerns about affordability. President Trump prepping for a big speech on the economy today in battleground Pennsylvania, as voters signal they're not happy with the issues central to his election in a series of polls. Most recently, Gallup, showing just 36% of those surveyed satisfied with the president's handling of the economy. He argues he inherited a mess.
The Democrats caused the affordability problem, and we're the ones that are fixing it. So it's a very simple statement. They caused it, we're fixing it.
On Monday, announcing a $12 billion aid package for farmers paid for through tariff revenues and targeting prices.
It'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
It's the latest in a series of executive actions aimed at addressing economic concerns, even as President Trump has publicly downplayed the affordability crisis.
Use the word affordability. It's a Democrat hoax. They're the ones that drove the prices up.
Democrats seizing on that language.
They don't plan to address the high cost of living in this country because they don't even believe that it exists.
While on Capitol Hill, a Senate vote this week on whether to extend expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, bringing the specter of soaring health insurance premiums for millions back to the forefront. Republicans pressing for reforms.
Just throwing more money at insurance companies means costs just keep going up. That doesn't solve the problem.
Democrats argue Americans in need can't wait, pushing to keep the issue top of mind with critical midterm elections now less than a year away. With the Democratic push to extend ACA tax credits likely to fail in the Republican-controlled Senate, GOP senators are circulating alternatives, like putting money directly into Americans' health savings accounts. But the Senate's top Republican has not said if he'll bring any of the GOP plans up for a vote. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Happening today in New York City, Luigi Mangioni's pretrial hearing resumes for a fifth day of testimony. Mangioni is accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan last year. In court yesterday, more new evidence was presented. A police officer who searched Mangioni's bag testified he found a loaded gun magazine wrapped in a pair of underwear. Mangione's lawyers are trying to get that and other key pieces of evidence barred from his trial, saying police did not have a search warrant. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.